In this example, we are going to discuss about something called saving the instance. Now, this is something which you will be requiring if you are developing, high-end apps. I mean, this is the basis of going towards development of high-end apps, and this is something which we must discuss, right? So, I've just made a small example so as to, show you how what is it that I'm really talking about. So there's this button. When I click on this, there is this one which appears, and then every time that I click, I get an increment of one, right? So looks fine. Now I will change the orientation of this button. Sorry, orientation of this emulator, and as I changed the orientation, you saw that that number which was 8 disappeared. Now again, if I click, then again it starts from 0, and so now we have stopped at 7. Now let me change the orientation again, and this time again you see that number is again vanished, and now again I have to start type clicking this so as to make it increase by 1, right? So basically what is happening is that whatever work that I've done, or whatever the status of my app is not resuming from the point where it was stopped or paused, and which is not really a good idea to happen. I mean, let's say tomorrow if you were watching a YouTube video, and you're watching the YouTube video in this portrait mode. This is called a portrait mode, and if you're watching the video like this, and then after that, if you change the layout to landscape, then the video disappears or video starts from the very beginning. I don't think that's a good user experience to have, right? So we will be discussing how to really make this thing happen. I mean, how to make sure that this does not happen, right? So I don't think there's any need to discuss what we did here for this, for what you just saw. This is a simple button and text view, and then for every increment there is x plus plus, and that's about it, right? Now let me show you what can happen if we take care of the instances getting lost if the orientation changes. First things first, I have already prepared that solution. So first what I'll do is I'll go to manifest and change my intent filter. Now you don't need to do this. I'm doing this because I want this time the activity which gets launched should be some other activity where my actual solution is, right? So this is how uh, it will work now. Let me show you by installing this app. Yeah, so now there's this new app that has been created. So add one. So this works fine. Now let me change the orientation, and now you see that this 5 remains there only, right? So if I keep incrementing it, it works fine. Again, if I change the orientation, then it stays like that, right? So let us see how do we make this thing happen. So this is a manifest file. If you don't know much about manifest file, you can let me know through the comments. I'll make another video for that. So now let me show you what exactly did I do here. So this is the same thing which you saw earlier. There's nothing to discuss here. What I did was I so what happens is whenever you launch your app, what happens is that there is this bundle object which is provided to this onCreate method, that goes into this onCreate method, and then the app knows from where to start and what all to show it to the user. Of course, set content view plays a vital role because this tells the user, the app, or rather the OS, what layout to show, but the current status of the app is given to the onCreate method through this object, right? Now what I've done is now there is something which you guys need to know. Whenever you change the orientation of your app, there is a method which OS calls, operating system calls, Android OS calls, and that's called as on save instance. Now this is something which is overridden, and this is something which OS calls at its own wish. You cannot intervene in this, but yes, of course, because you know that there will be a change in this method will be called whenever there is orientation change. what you can do is you can write your own code inside it and get your work done, right? So here the bundle which is provided to this is outstate, and then what I'm doing is I'm calling a method put int. This is a key which you need to provide, because this is very similar to what we do in explicit intents when we have to send data from one activity to another activity, right? So this is the key which I defined here, right? It's a key. Generally keys are defined like this only: private static final string. So this is the key, and I put int by giving this key, and this is the value. So x has been defined here globally, so I'm able to access it inside this method as well. So basically I'm submitting the current value to outstate. All right, and then just for my own knowledge that this something has happened, I have put a toast message here. After this, what happens is, so basically when the user was working on the app, on create was called and he was working on it. After that, when the user changed its orientation, phone's orientation, then on saved instance was called, and the same bundle which was here, which was updated bundle up till I mean, this was the bundle which app had. This bundle was provided to outstate, was provided to on saved instance state, and after that, we the same bundle here, it is called a local variable, it's called saved instance state, and here it is called outstate. This is the same bundle which gets transferred to this method. Now in this method, I am putting a value, giving a value, rather submitting a value with this key and this value here, right? So the moment the user is now switched to landscape orientation, again on create is called. All right, so it works like this: on create is called, and then on saved instance, and then again on create, right? The first time app launches, on create is called, then the user is working on it, fine, then user changes the orientation, on saved instance is called, and as the orientation is finally changed, I mean during that stage when user is rotating the phone from by 90 degrees, during that state on saved instance is called, and as the phone finally comes into a landscape mode, again on create is called, and these bundles are transferred across these methods as and when required. All right, so here what is being done is I'm submitting the value. So next time when on create is called, that is in the landscape mode, the x will already be updated with the new value, and we will find out if saved instance is not equal to null. So in this case, saved instance will not be equal to null, because you have provided a bundle this time, right? From here, right? So you have actually submitted a value there, and it's not equal to null, and that's why x is equal to saved instance state get int. Again, very similar to what we did with explicit intents. The key text value, this is the key which is provided so that we can get the latest value from here, and then we set the text on the text view. All right, this method is is same to same, there is no difference here, and that's how the this entire thing works. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and if you have any suggestions for me, any other ideas that you would want me to make apps on. I would definitely like to do that. Please subscribe to the channel, and take care. Bye bye.